Howdy guys, Benzo here, down on the trail. Today's video, I'm just doing a little bit of light packing. Don't have a lot of equipment, don't even have a sluice box. Going down to see what the river looks like, what the creek looks like after the big rains. Some serious rains this week. See what it looks like and see if maybe I can prospect a new spot, look for something new, or see if I can get into some holes. Let's find some gold. We're right on the edge of fall. Everything's about to turn on us. The trail isn't all that soft after the amount of rain we had. It's a little soft. I checked the online gauge and it looked like the river did finally crest last night, about 7.5 feet. It usually runs about 2 to 3 maybe. So it's pretty high for that river. Not super flood stage, but it went pretty high. I'm very curious to see what state this running stream is down here. Alright, it's time to get suited up and get your feet wet. Try to find a little bit of that gold. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can get that spot I was thinking about without getting everything wet. So I picked this little spot here close to the middle of the stream. There's the top scooping I have, bigger rocks. I'm going to take a couple more scoops out. And I'm going to judge the material, see what's in the top, see what's a little bit deeper, and see if this deposit's worth working when I have a sluice box. Here's those pans broke down a little bit. So what's going on here, this was the top pan and there were bigger rocks, almost football size, bigger rocks. And that gave us less material because it ate up the space. More gravel in the second pan, and there were a whole lot of golf ball to tennis size rocks in there that were picked out, and that gave us more material to work because there was less big rocks. Let's see if there's any gold in any of it. Check this out, we're getting rich over here. So that top pan, let's see if it will even show up. It's fine gold. Let's see if I can change the camera. Fine gold, maybe 10 or 12. I'm not gonna get rich with that. Here's the second pan, a little bit lower, and I saw 12 to 15 maybe, but most of it's super fine micro. I'm zoomed way in and you see 2 bigger specks there. It's not bad. So that's not really where I want to work. I'm gonna fill that hole in so I won't break my neck and move on up. I took a couple steps over closer to what I would think the pay streak would be. Got down in a deep hole. And see if I can focus. Yeah, that's gold up there. So I see 10 or 12 bigger specks in this one. There's more fines too. But I'm not even snuffing this up. I got me a little con bucket over there, and we're going to play with this later. Alright, we got no gold or black sand in this pan, which that's okay because I'm experimenting and I'm pulling material from different spots. Seeing if I can locate secret pay streaks or hidden deposits. You never know what the creek is doing now or then, because these logs down here aren't in the same configuration as they were last week. So they change often, and the little low pressure zones change too. So there's absolutely nothing in there I can see. Can't really see what I'm talking about, but there's a small cluster of large rocks in this area here. It's a little bit deeper. So I'm going to take me a test pan from right where my shovel sits. I'm going to have to take a couple of scoops because those rocks look quite large if I get all them up. I'm going to get a healthy pan, not just a 1-scoop pan, and see if this is a deposit starting or if it's any gold here at all. So I went ahead and did a 2-pan test from that area. Let's talk about this. To me, this is looking like telltale signs of an impact deposit. It's not being caused by any physical, but just by the shape of the creek itself, it seems. Maybe a little bit of physical obstruction. So there's large rocks, lots of quartz, even little pieces of the ironstone, the hematite type stuff. But what I'm really liking seeing is the amount of gravel that's there and the amount of dirt and mud. So is there any gold in this? It looks very similar to high gold bearing impact material you find sometimes. But only time will tell. Was it out of the pay streak? It laid down the same, but was the gold running in that line? Let's find out. Check it in. Here's the top pan that had the bigger rocks in it. And that's a pretty big count of gold and some bigger, fleckier pieces. That's looking more like a 20 or 30 count once you add them all up. And some bigger pieces. Now let's look at the bottom pan that had more material. This pan seemed to have far less black sand as compared to this one. But what we do have in this one is a pretty ridiculous gold count. There's a red piece. You see that? So we're well over 50 on that gold count for that pan. Well, that'll add up. Today is not about seeing how much gold I can get. It's about seeing how much gold I can get in each pan and trying different spots. And I've located a few spots that have produced decent and better gold, but I just want to keep testing. And it's building my imaginary three-dimensional model of this area here in my mind where the gold sits. And once you get enough pieces in place, sometimes you'll be like, let's try this spot, and you find the best spot yet. You may already found the best spot, but it's the way I like to do things. I'm just having fun. This is what I do for fun. I'm not trying to break any records today, but set myself up for future records to be broken. What should we dig next? Getting kind of deep. Can't even see my shoes hardly. So that's knee deep, and it just gets deeper around. I'm going to look for some different looking material. See if there's any soft push-ups in this mess. I'm gonna have to feel with my shovel. See if there's any large boulders. See if there's anything in this right here, just in this little area out in front of me. 10 by 10 spot. See if I'm gonna poke around my shovel and see what happens. Found some squishy stuff out there, but beyond that, I hit a pocket of rock. So I just took one big scoop, and I expected it to be hard. It was just rocks on top, because when it broke through, this is what was underneath those rocks. And it kind of stinks, and it's full of organics. I don't know if you can see that. It's just completely full of organics. Let's take a look and see if there's any gold hiding in this. Oh, this is a nasty pan. So this is either a flood deposit or a down tree. You know, the tops of trees, we got the logs. So when the tree tops fall in the water, especially when they're full of leaves, it creates a barrier, and they fall apart and break down really quickly and get coated with sediment, and then they disintegrate very slowly. But most of that is bark and clay. That is a weird pan, bark and clay with some rocks. I'm gonna try to get this stuff as clean as possible. For the amount of material that pan yielded, I'd say there is an alarming amount of gold. Yeah, that's gold too. What's wrong with the camera? Boom. That was a quarter pan maybe. I should test that again. 2 more pans in. Up in straight line from that last one that looked pretty good. And out of those 3 pans, all 3 pans look completely different. Different types of material. They all had a little bit of gold. Not the best pans, but not the worst. So I'm going to straighten my back a second. I already got my pants wet a little bit. My shorts. It's getting deep around here. So I'm going to do some thinking and see if I can't pick out a spot that's got even more gold. I'm in a slightly different area, not too far away. Just thought I'd walk over here and do a test. I saw a collection, I don't know if you can see through the water, of larger stones, softball size stones, and I thought this might show some promise. It might be easier to work. So let's get a good pan of material. Let's give it a fair shake. Let's do a full pan and see what shows up. I got a side, what side of the stream. I think I'm gonna go in a spot where it looks like a lot of stones collected and dig there. Probably there. Dig there. Okay, big full pan. From the size of the rocks, the color of the material, the amount of quartz and ironstone I see in there, and the amount of golf ball size rocks or bigger, there has to be gold in that, just from the data I've collected. If there's not gold in that, I'll be very surprised. Let's give her a shake. Hey guys, I've had days where I would just about do anything to get a pan like that. But considering some of those pans we've already seen, this isn't cutting the mustard. So we'll just stick that in our back pocket, and that's a decent deposit to work on another day. Might add up eventually. Hey guys, checking in. Sorry all you're seeing today is face and pans, but this is an active mine scene, and we got some gold pulled out of the ground. Hey, break time's over. It's time. I got my pants rolled up here. I'm gonna wade through that deep water and go over and check out some of those interesting little spots. See what's down there. See if it's clay, mud, rock, flood wash, pile of leaves. Don't know. It's gonna be interesting to find out. So we're gonna get wet. We're gonna take the shovel, the pan, the classifier, and the snuffer bottle, and that's it. Let's get in the deep. It's gonna be cold. It's cold today. Okay, I made it in, but just barely. Got pretty deep along the way. I'm in a funky spot. I'll give it a name once it starts telling me what kind of gold's here. But this is a very strange pan. A lot of bigger rocks. You can see the color material has changed, and the gravel's changed. Everything's different here. So let's see what it looks like. Rocks here are definitely a little bit harder to wash. After quite a bit of wash, I can still find bits of this very sticky clay, and you can see there's iron stones, and there's a lot more chert in here. You can hear it. It's a lot different. Here we got the under ½ inch material. I'm getting mixed messages on this. It looks like it might be good, it might be bad. It kind of looks like material that you would find a few flakes in, but not much fines. Let's shake it and find out. Here's that pan, decent amount of black sand. And I'd say I was about half right and half wrong on that prediction. What do y'all say? That's a little bit of flaky gold and a little bit of fines. Not a huge speck count like I've been seeing some places around here, but that might be better material considering the size of the pieces. It takes a lot of tiny dots to equal one of those. Second test pan from that area. And is that gold? No, that's not gold. That is. More testing is required. Good grief. Look at the size of rocks out of that scoop. Barely even got out of the water. So I'm not going to add anything else to it. I'm just going to shake this down. I'll show you how much material is in there. That's not too bad. That's a decent amount of material. It's still below the first riffle on the super sluice. I'll give that a shake and see what happens. Just wanted to see how much, because sometimes when you're pulling up those big rocks, you get big gold. Well, it's not a skunk. There it is. See? There we go. Maybe under that big rock then. Let's try there. See if we hit any dirt. That wasn't so dirty. Alright, this is the next pan under that big rock area. This is 2 scoops. The first scoop was more larger rocks like this one, and not much dirt. The next scoop, it seemed like I broke through a little bit and hit a little bit of material. So that's mainly what I'm testing there, is that ½ scoop of material. Just a few fines in that pan. Got to think about it, you know. Don't know exactly what to do. Sometimes when you don't know exactly what to do, you know what you do? You dig exactly where you're standing. Right under your feet. That might be the answer. I think it might be the answer. Let's try it out. Under your feet. What? There's the big piece of the day. It's pretty nice. That would have been a lovely pan on in itself right there. Oh man. Okay. Alright, I'm learning a little bit. After I started shaking that pan, I really didn't think there was going to be anything in it, because the way the material was looking compared to the recent almost skunks. So yeah, keeps you guessing. So even though I got my best flake up here and some of my best pan for size, this very spotty, streaky hit or miss. Bring up the same material and there's nothing. So it's very strange. I decided to take an outlier pan from a slightly different area, and when it came up I was so surprised that it's just almost completely ironstone and quartz. Some light sediment, some organics. So it was perplexing. I thought it was going to be more silty, but I don't know. Sometimes I've seen gold in this material. So let's shake it down and see what happens. It's wow, 90% of that pan went through the 1/2 inch. I wasn't expecting that. And it's not very dirty. I'm not expecting to see much anything. Interesting. That was far dirtier and denser and harder to shake than I would imagine. The amount of black sand was surprising. The amount of gold is also surprising, even though it is only 6 or 8, I don't know, real micros. Small specks. There might be more than that. Looking here, it could be 12 to 15. I wasn't expecting that either. It's very peculiar. You could just dig that in a bucket. You wouldn't even have to classify it hardly. Huh. Gotta think about this one. Okay, just one more pan from this particular area, using all information I've gained from these previous 6, 7 pans, and pick the best spot to get the most gold. So here we go. It'll be a new spot, not one of the old ones. Just kind of triangulating. The spot I picked was in line with the bigger gold and better pans. Went on down. It's not as dirty as I thought it'd be. A lot of gravel. And truthfully, the color of the pay, it's the first time I found this color at this spot. This is more like how it was earlier today at that other area. And it's been completely different here. So this little spot, it's a mystery box. That might be its name. Because you just get something different in every shovel. Here's that last pan. I picked a spot, and it seems like it's like directly in the middle of all those other pans. A couple nice flecks and some dots. Just right in the middle of everything. Not bad. This ground might be worth coming and working. So I've identified a few different pay streaks that are worth working, and now I know exactly what equipment I would need to come back and work them. Like extra this spot particularly, extra buckets, Eileen, and yeah, extra buckets. That's the big thing. So you don't overfill them. Just half buckets, because you don't want to be speed panning here. This is not a good area. You're standing in pretty deep water. It's not that great. So what I think what I'm going to do is go back to where my concentration bucket is and fill in a few gaps. I've identified 2 parallel pay streaks running through there, but I want to see what's still going on through the middle and see if that area is worth digging to, so I don't waste my time digging it or use my time digging it when I come back. I am back. I stopped along the way and did a pan. I wasn't impressed, so I kept walking. So I come back down here and I'm using my best judgment to pick out 2 pans. So these are 2 bodacious pans. Going to be quite a fit to pan. They are from, let's see, what is that, 12, 14 feet apart from each other, both, and it's kind of a pay streak area. So I'm very interested to see how the gold's holding up, because we've already identified that there's gold here. So this is going to tell me exactly where I should focus when I come back. Alright, here we go. Here's that first pan. It's like a piece of lead, maybe mercury gold. It's looking pretty good. That's a pretty good high count. We're looking in the 50 range with some fleckier stuff. And we got pan number 2. And I really don't see much difference to you. It looks like it's in the 50 to 70 range. Maybe the other one's got a few bigger specks. Hard to tell. Very similar. And yeah, it's 2 different pans, so I'm not making stuff up. Calling these 2 the last 2 pans of the day. shake these down, then I'll probably go ahead and shake those cons out while I'm here. It's not that much, and we'll get a snuffer dump. Alrighty guys, that's it for wild pans on the day. This pan's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Not too bad. The ground's worth digging. But I'm thinking this looks better. I don't know. Quite a bit of specs and quite a bit of size to them. That's just a pan, guys. So it looks like I might get a little bit of gold to show for today anyway. Let's see what it looks like. Alright guys, here's that snuffer dump on the day. I cleaned those cons out. And that's the biggest piece of the day. And what I do, maybe between 20 and 25 pans, something like that, give or take. There was a few skunks mixed in there, and you know, I wasn't finding the best gold and just staying there. I was trying to build my my knowledge of this area and where I should work. And now I've identified 3 or 4 main pay streak lines. I know where to work and where not to. What do y'all think that is on the day? A few hours. Looks really good like that, but it might be a 0.1. I'm thinking 0.11. That's lead. Looks like, I don't know. Is that a mercury flake or lead shrapnel? So thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hope you found it entertaining and or informative about how you follow the clay and follow the pay, trying to look for the best spots, and then you go back with the best equipment specialized for that particular area and you give it a good go. That's how I like to do it. So look for me on Patreon. Big rewards, big gold rewards. And until then, get in the creek and get some gold.